Hello, Grace, and welcome back to our cover-to-cover reading plan. We are on April 25th reading, and we are going to be jumping around quite a bit from 2 Samuel 8, the last few verses, to 1 Chronicles 18, to 1 Chronicles 6, to 2 Samuel 9 and 10, as well as 1 Chronicles 19. So I hope you can keep up. Well, as we've said before, that we are going to be reading a lot of the same content from the Chronicler as well as 2 Samuel and Kings. And what we need to do is look at the differences. What are these tour guides emphasizing? Because they're writing from two different time periods. 2 Samuel is written in a more recent historical time period, whereas the chronicler is writing after everything has happened, after their temple's destroyed, after they've been exiled, deported from their own land, and they are beginning to come back and rebuild the temple and reestablish the kingship. And the chronicler is looking back at the history of Israel in order to look ahead at the future hope of Israel. And so that's where he's writing from, and we'll see some of those differences as we continue to read. But today we have the end of chapter 8 of 2 Samuel and the beginning of chapter 18 of 1 Chronicles. We have a depiction of David being a just and good king. And then it goes on in 1 Samuel 6, where he is establishing worship before the tent of meeting. And the genealogy is there for us to see that the musicians that are ministering before the temple are descendants of the three clans of Levi. So the three clans of Levi in 1 Chronicles 6:16 is Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And then we see in 1 Chronicles 6:31 the musician Heman was from the clan of Kohath. Asaph from the clan of Gershon, and Ethan from the clan of Merari. So there's this complete ministering before the tent of meeting, the temple. And next we see the kindness to Mephibosheth. That is a fun name to say, Mephibosheth. Well, what this is actually communicating to us is that David is a man of his word. In 1 Samuel 20, he's talking to Jonathan, and Jonathan says, do not show kindness to my family, even when God has brought peace. Continue to show kindness. And so this is where God has brought peace to David, and now he wants to honor his promise, his covenant he made with Jonathan. And so he summons Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth, when he's summoned, he's not expecting anything. He actually is probably expecting to be put to death as a possible enemy of the throne of David. That's what they did in ancient Near Eastern culture, and really most cultures who had these kingships, is they would put to death anyone who had a possible claim to the throne. But David is not doing that. He's honoring the word that he gave to Jonathan. Now, this is important theologically for us because Jesus actually communicates something very similar. That when we are to have a party, when we have a banquet, when we have things that are going on, that we shouldn't invite people who can do something for us. We should invite those who can't do anything for us. And Mephibosheth meets that criteria. He cannot help David in any way. David is using his power to show kindness and love to someone, to fulfill his word to Mephibosheth and to honor his family and his word to Jonathan. And so we see this, and that's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Are we willing to show kindness to those who cannot benefit us and cannot honor us? And that's happens in churches all the time. We go and we hang out with the people who can help us, who can benefit us. But the question is, are we going to follow the example of David? Are we going to follow the teaching of Jesus and love those who cannot do anything for us back? Well, next we have David defeating the Ammonites and the Arameans. So he sends a delegation to the son of Nahash, who is Hanun. He became king, and Hanun's advisors say, David's trying to conquer you, so send them away. And so he cuts off half their beard, and he exposes their nakedness. And if you look at any ancient artifacts that depict Israel, whether it's in Egypt, Babylon, or in Israel itself, you will see that almost everything, actually every single artifact depicts Israelite men with beards. And so this is a part of their manliness or their manhood to have beards. So shaving their beard kind of shows that they're not manly anymore. And exposing their nakedness, that's a very shameful thing to do. And so this really angers David. He sends Joab. Hanun hires the Arameans, and then Joab finds himself in this really bad tactical spot where he has to fight a battle on two fronts. And everyone who knows anything about tactics knows that you're not going to win if you have two fronts to fight on. Well, they do win, but not a decisive victory where he's able to go and besiege the cities. They have to go back, and then David brings a whole army, and they attack the people, and they defeat the Ammonites and the Arameans. And that's what we see